Good morning, everybody. Just getting everything going here. Had a couple of blips, weird little server issues. You know, test run works great. Oh no, can't find server. So here we are, second stream. Hopefully, you guys found your way over here. We'll just let the bit rate sort out here, and then we're gonna get started. Lots of juice in the market right now, but Bitcoin's sitting at a precarious level. So let's, looking on with bated breath. See what we can find here. Let's start with Bitcoin. And I'll pull up and make sure we are all here. I have the double link, so a couple of things. All right, so we got a couple of people here. Hey, good morning. Glad you made it over. Sadiq, I believe I'm saying that correctly. Correct me if I'm wrong. I saw you on the first stream. We did to just reset real quick. You can imagine my panic. I'm like, we're supposed to be live. But here we are, getting fired up. And I want to just make sure that everyone's found their way here so that so we're all in the right spot. Okay. So this morning, I want to talk a little bit about Bitcoin. There's a few altcoins running that are on my radar. We're at a very interesting level on the corn. So this is an old chart. It's pretty bearish that I put out. I had a few targets that all kind of aligned. 50% of this move back down in half the time would have put us here. Could still technically hit. Seems very improbable right now. But we did. So let's look at this. I mean, we broke through the arc. That was sort of part of my thesis right here. We're riding up this arc. So it seemed reasonable to break through. It doesn't mean it has to tank like this. But it seemed reasonable that after we break through, it would be time to cool off. And then we came up, bearish retest on this scan horizontal. So I was like, okay, now we're going down. Well, we didn't. Came up, tested this scan angle down. So these levels are not out of play yet. In fact, they seem like quite probable. The real question is, and all I really care about is, what are altcoins doing during this? If it's very abrupt, then altcoins are going to go and probably hit a lot of their breakout levels, and that's fairly healthy stuff. That's normal, right? Give you an example. Let's see. Ooh, lots of charts today. Okay, let's see. As an example, we got a big breakout on Tomo. Right? So, like, if Bitcoin did that, if it rolled over, you get a lot of these big rallies and they just come down and test these levels. That's fairly normal stuff. I mean, you see it here, you see it here. So, I want to see them run. Ooh, Strat's going parabolic. Okay, let's go check out Strat. Oh, wow. Yep. And I know I talked about this last week, but I think it was Tuesday night. Anyways, there's a little video talking about this fib that I made for this reason, so that we could sort of quote unquote chase these pumps or trends. Trend chaser is a better, safer way to do it. But let's see, on the hourly, this actually came in the other day. So I actually did catch this because I figured if I'm going to talk about this and share this, I might as well take one. And so you have the Strat, really nice. I mean, look at that, clean breakout, retest. I mean, 2 clean tests, 2 chances to get in just around 45. But if you missed it, like I did, because I'm always just looking at all these things and I don't always hit them, breaks out even more, draw up that fib. So I did this the other night, and it came down, and like 57 was a really sick entry, as it turns out. I mean, obviously at the time I'm like, oh no, are we going to come right in here? But we didn't. Now we're moving. Very nice. Good to have you in here, Rune. And anyone else here, say good morning, say hi, shout out a chart if you want to look at something. I've got a few things. I mean, I could talk all day. I love crypto, love charts, and there's a lot to talk about, a lot going on. So if it's quiet, we'll continue on. Just gonna pour some coffee here. Let's get Get a warm cup of coffee. So the dominance chart is looking a little bouncy right now. And again, that's the big question to me. Is, I mean, of course, okay, so Bitcoin, let's play the bear scenario first. Let's start off bear, we can end up. If Bitcoin breaks down, right? Ding, 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 fails. Seems reasonable. It's not another question. Doesn't mean here, 7K, whatever. But if it breaks down from this consolidation, because it could, what does that mean for altcoins? Right? That's really what I want to. Versus USD, most likely it just means they're down. So if that's what you're trading against and you want to secure that, you know, now's a good time to be thinking about what would I do if that happened. Because you don't want to be selling, you know, I'm just going to hold through. I'm going to hold through. And then it gets really nasty. And then you're like, oh, I'm going to hold through. It's really nasty. And then you're like, oh, I'm going to sell. Right? So how in advance. And if you really are going to hold through, you got to come to really abilities. You've been around 2 years. You know, I would argue that the grossest part of it is all behind us. So probably, you know, probably well weathered by now with the holding. But this is the water. And, you know, for me, for all coins, and if we get some kind of bullish structure here, through kind of, like, that's my change. New window, put it there. Now I'm thinking about, you know, minimizing risk, sitting in like Bitcoin, maybe, and you know, just chop your a little while, like this dominance, right? It was like 3 weeks. So that's bearish thought. Really, like, looking, I was so sure. I was like buying. Yeah, we're definitely. So you just keep that hard to see the thing when all your is in gains on. I'm not really, but you just get ahead of it. Ethereum. This is a level I'll be watching. Broke down. Didn't. This. It's more like up. Can't continue. See what looking like anything here, because if I this, you know, selling get here, market ordering, because it's often hard to see that confirmation, and so I can move this now. A new, right? And then if I wanted to short this, my sure got the in this low, got the signal there. Now lifting my ass here, you know, on the squeeze, and it's just to like it's all to here. When they snipe for our is you got like that's the short that I will for when you have a ton of exposure to take little USD shorts when you can. You know, it's a little bit of a hedge. It craps out, and everyone's going, "Why is the sky falling?" And you're sitting there, you know, with a nice little P&L working. So it's not bad to take those. Oh, voice issue. Let's see. Okay, guys, I'm going to change one thing here. All right. How is the sound now? What do you guys think if the choppy sound has fixed? It's funny because I was actually like, I need a new microphone. This Blue Yeti, it's okay as a starter, but I'm done. Beauty, okay. Yeah, it's done that once before, and you just unplug, replug, classic. So thanks for letting me know, guys. Sorry about that. I got a new mic coming. I told myself this weekend, buying a new one. Nice, sexy one. Okay, so let's keep her going steady. Really, yeah, so short is coming in on Ethereum. You know, there was arguably one there if you're a breakout trader, but you really got to be staring at the chart for that, and that's not my style. So I had an alert. Now I'm looking, and if I get that squeeze up, it's going to be a nice high R opportunity, and then I'll be looking here for divergence, bullish divergence, and maybe getting ready to cut it. The nice thing, not to be so bearish today, guys, but the nice thing about shorting up here, if I can snipe that, as you saw, it's tight RR, but like, you know, the bear scenario is here for a bit of a pullback, right? Fundamentally, excitement in the market. I don't know why it would happen, but that's just kind of the way markets are, right? Sellers distributing, whatever. So if I sniped that entry, it's going to be a really interesting, like, you know, trailing stop loss. You could really run that for a while, similar to up here. And actually not on this chart, on Bitcoin though. Bitcoin. Don't worry, guys. We are going to talk about shitcoins because that's really what I want to talk about today's altcoins. But I feel obligated to, you know, explore different options in the market, different sides of things. And a really nice short to just kind of share what I'm thinking about on Bitcoin here was this. So we had all kinds of reasons to be out here. There was resistance. There was an A, B, C, D harmonic. And could draw that up real quick. So there was a lot of reasons. What was this in January, to be thinking about a little downside here, right? We had some nice tags, and then the short, it's just set up perfectly. And so again, more as a hedge play, I want to keep an eye on the market for this. Okay, so we came in here. You maybe can already see this, but we put in the structure we were watching for, got the signal fire. Then of course I'm like, well, I want to wait for that squeeze play. I mean, you can see it right here. So sick, right? So you get the signal fires, comes down, draw that fib, set those asks, nice tight invalidation. And, you know, how did that age? Whoa, right? So, again, just keeping an eye on that. If it happens, I want to be part of it. I don't want it to happen, but traders got to trade. Okay, so those are thoughts on the majors. If we're going to be, you know, flipping around, getting a little bearish. I just heard a ping from TradingView. I just want to check, maybe to do with me not getting, yeah, no, the server wouldn't work on TradingView this morning. It literally just wasn't on. But, you know, they're in beta, so it's okay. It's part of the growth cycle. So let's take a look at some charts. You guys got any ideas of what ones you want to see? Because I've got a few. So I'll start here. Unibright. Look at this thing. Sick. I don't know what happened here, but suddenly it got very exciting. And that was this January. So pretty unreal. And of course, you know, not chasing. There was a nice trade that came in here. I don't even look for coins, you know, that are off sort of my main exchanges, so I would never have caught this. But my buddy Pascal, shout out to Pascal, thank you, sir, suggested this the other day. He just put out a chart. He said, hey, does this look like it's going parabolic? And this fib extension seemed like a reasonable target. And, you know, it's a really pretty chart. It all makes sense. So talked about it a little bit last night on this the video, but just to reiterate, fib extension from low to high. You get up here, kind of the opposite of the RLZ that you see on a lot of my other charts. Right, so this kind of thing coming down into here, and you get some oftentimes reversal. Same kind of thing with fib extensions. You can paint future targets here. Really nice targeting tool for when you're making new all-time highs. And yeah, is this a parabolic advance? Is this, strong support just tagged into it? Nice reaction, continuation. So I'm not long on this. It does trade on Bittrex. I would like to see, this is the versus the US dollar. I'd like to see this close. Then I'm going to go see if I can find a setup. Because let's see what it actually looks like where it's trading, where I might actually trade it. I would personally, I stay away from HIT BTC. I don't know what it's like for the last 2 years, but back in the day, it was very unreliable and high fees and slow this and very sketchy. I just feel like it's one of those ones that might go down. So yeah, this kind of thing. I mean, you can see no real chart history on Bittrex. It's fairly new, just got listed in May. But yeah, let's see. Let's see if we have, just on this chart, let's see if there's a setup. I like the other chart is where I might find my actual setup. But is there divergence here? Not really on the last bit down. So I don't love that. But, right here, a little bullish divergence, right? Low, higher low, lower low, big structure. So, it's there, but I'm really basing the setup off the other chart. I just want this structure so that I have a way to, size my risk and, figure out where I'm going to take it. That's a big move already. But yeah, probably 3-to-1 to start. And then at 3-to-1, I can think, okay, am I going to move my stop loss to scratch and just take the longer trade, or am I going to close half the position, move my stop to scratch? No matter what, though, when that hits, got to do something. It's a big drawdown. 28% is not peanuts. So that means, you size your position smaller. Hey, good to have you there, Sabota. Nice to see you too, sir. Or madam. I'm assuming sir, but who knows? Hard to tell on the internet. Now, let's look at a few others. Yeah, I keep hearing the ping from TradingView. I don't know what that is. Hey, there he is. Craig, welcome. I was just about to feature your risk calculator. Because let's just, real quick, 28% drawdown if this Unibright setup comes in. It is not. So 28%, let's say that's 2687. So for the risk calculator, I'd have to say 2687. And my entry is, let's assume that the setup comes in and then it's like bingo. Okay, so there's my entry. Let's say it's 3780. And let's say I want to take 1% risk on the trade. And let's say I'm trading with a $10,000 account. I can only put in $345. And that's fine. It's whatever, right? But that's the nature of having these fatter stop losses. So it's a pretty loose setup. As far as, that's just, I prefer when you can get tight invalidations in the 10 to 18%. But does it really matter? You're risking, $300. But the upside is a couple $100. So again, just another trade. But anyways, I like Unibright. Looks sexy. Does look sexy. And it's funny because it's one that I saw last year. Somebody's like, "Oh man, did you get a Unibright?" It was 40x. I was like, "No." So it's maybe it's a bit of that too, that I'm just excited to be like, "Oh wait, there's another chance." So we'll see how this pans out. This is a daily, so I don't expect it to be this weekend, but it should be sometime in the next week or so. I'll be keeping an eye. Doc broke out. Yeah, pump chaser fib. Woo. Really nice. Breakout. Looking at it. Tight invalidation, right? Again, if you're using the 0.5 for invalidation, or maybe you're dipping in here and this was your confirmed market structure. right? And I say you, I'm not like to you guys saying, here's your advice. I'm just talking in theoretical terms here, because I don't do financial advice here, but just say someone trading this was waiting for that structure, and then they're like, okay, and then I'll take the retrace, or set my lows here for an invalidation, or use the 0.5. Pretty sick. 'Tis the season right now for slightly more aggressive entries, I think. As far as like fibs go, right? Typically I live down here, and I like this. And for the last 2 years, this served very well. Like this breakout level, they often, in 786, they come back, and there's many that still will. But like this past week or two has been very much touch and go with the 382s. And you see it all over the place. Nano, thinking about it. But and this is like a lot of people are talking about this. Every day that goes by, people get a little more nervous about this. And I want to actually pull up, because the job of the market is really to take as much money away from as many participants as possible. So you always just got to be on your toes. Let's see. We're really still fine. I mean, nothing's really changed yet. But it's funny what a $200 candle can do to your exuberance, or at least mine. It just kind of reminds you, like, oh man, we are human. This thing could fail. But have fun while you can. Manage risk. So when it does fail, hopefully you got out. If it does fail, you got out with a little more than you got in with. Then play and wait for the next one. So I'd say that's a pretty good level there, as far as like what might a trigger be for me to switch to more risk off. Let's see, we got check Stratus USD 1 minute chart. Okay, best analyst in crypto here. Oh, appreciate it. For damn sure. And who does me follow? Yeah, well, that's a really good point. We should get the custom colors up here. I'm going to make a note for that, because I love these colors too. We've got our green, our pink, our purple. And you can add a custom color. Ooh, it's okay, so there it is. So 00FF00. I'll just put it in the chat if anyone's interested. It does have a lot of pop to it. And our custom hero pink. Let's see. And that one. And our third color, which we don't always use too much, but it's like this little purple. And the reason I don't use it much is because it's a little dark. I found it's kind of hard to see. It doesn't translate as well. But let's put it in there because it is fun. It's a fun color. And so, yeah, that's our color scheme. And then you can just, put it everywhere. I've been putting it everywhere, finding ways. Red, basically just replacing any red with that, and green with that. And I was that kid who would just dress like really coordinated. As a kid, I was like, oh, I got my blue hat, I better wear my blue shoes. Like, so this is like, a dream for me to have it all coordinated like this. I really like it. Yeah, let's take a look at Strat USD. I have this habit of only adding things to the list, never just going direct to the box up here. It's funny. It's weird. At least you know where it is for later. All right, Strat USD. Should we just ride this thing? Oh, yeah. And here's what's sick about the 1 minute chart. It's kind of a joke, right? Everyone's like, oh, the 1 minute chart, me. But everything starts on the 1 minute chart. I mean, it's like this whole little world of TA going on down here, and it's very applicable. I mean, if you think about it, every breakout starts on the 1 minute chart. So if you're into that kind of thing, I know a guy who traded a lot on the 1 minute chart, and not with bots and algos, like live. Pretty intense. Let's see. This is weird. This panel of colors doesn't have these colors. Really strange. I'm going to call somebody about that. It's confusing. Yeah. Not the cleanest wedge, but it's there. Yeah. Oh, baby, strat. Yeah, it does look like continuation, doesn't it? I mean, kind of had that here. God, TA is fun. Yes, talking about cheese. And that is, yeah, retesting key level here, 64 cents. Is that 50 cents the other day? Like last night, was it? Yeah, I swear. This is the 1 minute, so like this is like an hour ago. But yeah, good shout. 1 minute chart during these rallies can be a lot of fun because on the hourly, it's just like one stick. It's like, what do I do here? But when you zoom in, there's a lot of detail. A lot of good info. Let's see. Oh, we just tagged the 618, so we're clear for takeoff. And lots of buyers. Lots of volume anyways. Volume is increasing on this move up, so that's pretty cool. Then, of course, you zoom back out. Not quite as exciting, right? But, yeah, I know. Such a sweet tag. Telling you, man, these fib levels, I see them everywhere on my charts all the time. I'm obsessed. And this is why. And it's, I've heard some people say, well, how do you know which one it's going to tag? It always tags different ones. It's like, well, okay. So then as a trader, you just say, I'm going to buy the 618s or I'm going to, long the 702s. Like you just pick your poison. Buddy of mine, famous for rocking the 886 all the time. And it doesn't hit as much, but man, when it does, look at that. You look back on charts where the 886 hit, and it's absolutely nasty. And just on that note, I've got to show you guys. Some of you already know where I'm going with this, but guess who was cheering on this day? There's your 886. Sky's not falling for that guy. And it was really an old breakout level, which is sick because I was actually doing a stream last April after this breakout thinking, oh, man, we're going to have to fill this little gap in, like this big impulse. And I was thinking, like here, not a year later. So I naturally didn't have my orders working. But it was pretty sick looking back. I was like, oh, I can't believe that actually happened. But yeah, 886, 7, So these things do happen. You keep an eye on the fibs and the more extreme fibs especially. Let's see. CTSI. This is one I actually traded, so I'm really excited. I talk about charts all the time. I share charts all the time. I don't always trade them. In fact, I often don't for whatever reason. There's just too many, and I end up with no positions. So this is exciting for me. Let's see. I don't know why it's not showing my chart ink. I had some on there. Oh, I do know why. It's because we're over here. All right, so let's take a look at CTSI as it's moving. Not a lot of history, right? This is a new coin, so you're not going to see resistance. There will be resistance wherever the sellers decide to sell, whoever holds it, but it's hard to chart for it, and in some cases I think that makes it a little easier to get upside. There's less of those like level bag holders where it's like, okay, when it gets to here, I'm going to get out. Get to here, I'm getting back out. So, arguably good to have not as much historical resistance. And, let's get a sweet spot tag. Little chaos fib puts it up here as well. Because, how do you chart something when there isn't anything to the left to really give you those levels, right? I just used this. That was like a launch day price tag. Yeah, and exactly, Rob. I mean, you just don't have to chase pumps. And sometimes you don't chase the pump, and you're waiting for it, and it takes off without you, and that's okay. That's going to happen. Always another bull somewhere, right? Always another trade. But more often than not, the moment you finally decide to chase it, let's go to ARPA. Let's go to ARPA for this little story time. Wow, sick. It was right under this line. It came back down a bit last night. I was like, oh, yeah, we're going to close below. I guess it still has 10 hours. But, usually it's like the moment you decide, you're like, I just can't take it anymore. I need to get in. And then that's just like, it's almost like why there's tops in markets. Because the human psychology, human brains are all wired fairly similarly in that sense, at that middle brain part, that emotional, amygdala level. And it seems like we all just FOMO at similar times. And so it is often when you finally cave, like, I'm just going to buy it. And I bet everyone in this room right now could probably think of a time that happened, right? It's like uncanny. It's like, and then you look back, you're like, I bought the exact top, or I sold the exact bottom. And so coming with a plan, using these kinds of fibs can really help. Let's see about ARPA. I'm thinking about this pump chaser fib. Let's see if it would have worked here. So like, what does that even do? Zoom? No. Let's see what this fib looks like down here. I mean, okay, let's go to bottom. And we'll go to the breakout top. So arguably, you had these two levels, and that's your breakout point. And we broke it here on June 16th. Broke out. I want to get in on that. How do I do it? Well, I don't want to chase that because, getting in here, and you did have about a week of downside. And also, the better the entry you get, your tighter invalidation, the larger position you can take for the same amount of risk, right? So there's all kinds of reasons to wait. And look at that. 382 pump chaser fib, invalidations. So it worked. I didn't do it. I mean, this stuff is so easy in hindsight, right? You could do this all day with things that just tag 382s and go. And if they don't, you don't feel the pain the same. So 2020 hindsight, but there's a reason that I think, there's a reason I like this fib. And then look at that. Oof, you're in for the ride, and invalidation's pretty tight. So again, naturally, this is, this one's passed. There's no trade here. There's no good business buying here. Even if, someone's like, it's going to be the next Google. Well, cool, man. But where's my invalidation, right? So I don't know that I should even have to cover that, but this is just not where you buy stuff if you want to make consistent money in the market. Now look, okay, absolute FOMO time. If you absolutely needed to, can't live without yourself if you're not in on ARPA. Where are we here? Yeah, so yeah, we did just tag it. Let's hide this one. Yeah, so if there's going to be continuation, I mean, I'm staying away from this one, especially, with Bitcoin volatility as low as it is, and what I assume is some eventual pending doom in that regard for a little shakeout, at which point, you could be thinking about these kinds of levels, if that comes, right? But yeah, I mean, look, tagged it. 382, that's typically, the first stop regardless. So that's something to watch. I mean, there's a lot of volatility in here. If you're a sneaky day trader, what a clean tag. I mean, if you're just looking for flippies, I don't trade low time frames. Typically, I'm just doing other things. I like to trade a little higher time frames, more swing plays, hold it for a few weeks, months. But no arguing with that. I mean, but again, there's a whole setup you have to come up with around invalidations and playing the fib levels on the retrace. I went about that once, a year and a half ago, when I first discovered fibs. Never really found a consistent edge on that. I think there is one there, but I didn't find it. Yes, fibs do work on the 1 minutes. Everything TA, it's like so fractal. I won't say everything because I don't know all TA, but the TA that I'm familiar with, it just works on all levels. It's so sick. And fibs especially. I mean, fibs are just so nice. So let's see Doc. Again, thinking about, the FOMO in the market. When these things break, they're breaking pretty hard. I mean, look at this, man. This thing just like creates these like demand levels. So sexy. And God, I don't know what to say. It just keeps happening. Why did I have these levels? Yeah, so, okay, yeah, we were talking about this earlier, but And let's see. We get a fib extension on here. We were talking about those last night in the video. They're newer to me, like in the sense that I don't use them all the time. But we haven't been in a bull market. So there's been less reason to use an extension. We weren't going up. I mean, you can use them going down too, but typically I would use them for targeting. And look at that. Price seems to be gravitating towards that. Let's see what the chaos fib has to say. I just use this one for fun. It's not part of my trading plan, but yeah, smacked 4669. So all kinds of excitement right now in the market. IOST is another one, lots of ups and downs. They all kind of look like that, so there's not much point in showing what they used to be worth. It's really more like where they're at now, but yeah, similar kind of thing. Talked about this on Monday, and it did get a pop. So actually, no. I think that pop was the Monday. Either way, hit resistance here. Does look pretty strong. I am so excited, guys. I can't tell you. Yeah, I know. The FOMO did work in 2017. In fact, in some ways, obviously being conservative in a bear market saves you a ton, and it's the way to be. Being conservative in a bull market can cost you some. But being conservative or managed throughout both cycles will generally have a net profit over people, because, how many people FOMO'd in 2017 and just walked away with very little, or, made 500K and then walked away with 20 and just felt depressed about the 20 they made. So I personally, my goal is just to have a, steady approach to the market that works in all weather, and when the going's great, it's better. And when the going's not going great, it's not so bad. And, but it depends on your vision too, right? I see myself doing this for 30 years. I'm in my 30s. Imagine I'll be doing this when I'm 60. So as much as I want to buy a house yesterday, I'm ready to take my slow and steady approach to the market. And make no mistake about it, guys, this is a hot moment. It's there's going to be risk-off windows where Bitcoin, comes back into play, either because it's rallying, hopefully, or because it's just everything's tanking faster than it, and the dominance is back into bullish. So enjoy it. Got to eat while there's food. And I think with that, I wanted to pull up. What was I going to pull up? I was just thinking about it. Brain fart. What do we got over here? It sounds like there's some interest in lower time frames. Pull that up. Oh, that's what I was going to talk about. I want to go to Hxro for a sec. Let's do this. I'm really excited because when altcoins, when there's less volatility in the market, Moonrect is just going. So I've been ripping on this for a little bit, playing with my account, trying it out. And, every candle has an outcome, regardless of market condition, regardless of Bitcoin dominance, regardless of everything. And, I haven't yet, but messing around with oil, messing around with gold. So I'm pretty pumped to start dabbling even more. They have a Hxro bots that you can run on here. So, it's almost like right this moment, I can't take my eyes off these alt charts, but I'm not even worried about this rollover if it happens or when it happens. It's going to happen eventually because I love Moonrect. I've been playing it now a lot lately, and it's just that kind of warm, fuzzy feeling when the altcoins bail on me. Still got my thing. Now, I've lost my dominance chart. Yeah, so keeping a close eye on dominance in general. Now, we've got about 15 minutes. Beaksy. Can I take a look at Beaksy? Let's see. I think it actually might be on here. Yes, indeed. Yeah, let's do it. Not overbought. LOL. It's had a big dump what was it, June 24th last week? Basically just like a low volume, kind of like somebody exited, right? Pretty thin book there. Franklin left today. Head of marketing announced on Twitter that he's leaving. So I think that might have caused a little bit of plummeting. People getting a little worried. That doesn't worry me too much. He's a great guy. Wanted some time. Yeah, so Beaksy, I mean, what can you say about it? It's bottom range. It's putting in a cute bottom. I was pretty excited to see this. Oh, that's a fib. That's a fib extension. Oh, yeah, because I was doing the Unibright. But I don't have... See, this is not TradingView. Like, I guess I could just put this on here real quick. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, you can have your presets, I guess. Well, anyone ever seen anyone set up a fib? Now's your chance. I'm going to do it real quick. 618. I like the 702. And we'll make it green. It stays gray. A little brighter. Even a little brighter. And let's say 786. Give it that nice pink. And let's get an 886. And let's go, wow. Okay. Oh, and then of course we want to flip this now. And last but not least, let's give it a little bit of sauce in the background and move the numbers over to the right. Okay, so that's how you set up the fib. And on actual TradingView, you can save that template, so you don't have to do it every day. This is cointrader.io or something. Anyways, yeah, so this was exciting. As far as location goes. Well, yeah, so this isn't TradingView. That's the thing. I actually just found this site. Somebody shared it with me yesterday. Charts, CoinTrader Pro. You can, I guess it just gets the data on it, basically everything. But it has a really nice, full TradingView widget. And you can even save certain things. Templates, things like that. So, pretty sweet. And yeah, we are in location. Got in here, almost had that sort of like capitulation finish, bounced up, and now we're just sort of back into what I imagine is the RLZ of that move. Oop. Oh, that's why it's reversed. Gotta unreverse it. So, yeah, I mean, location is pretty sick, Casper. We'll see how it goes. I know they got lots coming up. Things are moving over there, so that's that. We'll go back to UBT just so I don't lose sight of that one before I walk away. So yeah, this is just based off CoinMarketCap data. It's actually pretty sick website. I'm excited about it. So ARPA, oh, Dogecoin. Doge. Let's take a look on the hourly. That's Trex, Binance. Yeah. Here's going to be an interesting one. I'm very interested to see how this goes given what we think was behind it. Yeah, just making sure I didn't miss anything in the chat. How do you control screen time? Trading gives anxiety. What is the best way to trade without anxiety? Yeah, well, that's a great question. And the best way to trade without anxiety is to have a plan. And coming up with that plan is that's the work. That's the part that's hard. And most people don't want to. They just want to make money. And in some cases they can, and then it's proof to themselves, false proof, but it's proof. They're like, look, I can just do this. But in the long run, if you trade without a plan, you will eventually find, if you tracked your numbers, that they're either suboptimal or just you're not making money. You can trick yourself into thinking you are because you make chunks of money, you track that, you pay attention to that, you're like, look at that, and then the little bits of losses eat you up, and over time you'll see that. So trading with a plan, big one. Big part of that is knowing where you're going to get out of a trade and why before you get in. Let me repeat that. Knowing where you're going to get out and why before you get in. Because once you're in a position, once you're in a trade, emotions take over, or they can, right? And so you're not thinking as clearly. You're not seeing what's maybe really happening. You're not appreciating the values that are being made and lost. You're in the position. And often, and I've read this too, like sometimes you can just exit a position, recalibrate, you can start thinking more clearly, right? How many times you get out of a position, you're like, oh, I don't feel as worried about it now. I kind of want back in, right? But you start to think clearly, replan it, come up with a strategy. Was the position too big? Was the risk too high? Is that why I had to feel the need to close it? So having those kinds of things in place. So in this case, let's just use an example. We are getting some bullish divergence on the MACD. So there's that. And we've got some lower lows in price, higher lows in MACD. Willie is breaking out of stupid on the hourly. Looks like stock has bottomed, crossed bull back into the 20. So this could be reversing here. I want to see bullish market structure on price, right? So we're making like high, low, lower high, lower low. We're trending down on the hourly. So that bullish market structure tells me that the trend has reversed, or at least most likely, right? So we've got our low, we made a little high. I want to make a higher low and then a higher high. Then I'm like, okay, now I can start hunting my setup. Hopefully I get a retest and go. That higher low, right? Kind of buying in on the lows. And to your question about, well, how do I trade without anxiety? If I measure my risk, yeah, so exiting when you see bearish divergence on an hourly, I mean, that's not a bad plan. I mean, it's like, okay, I'm in a move. It's moving in my direction. Okay, I see that the momentum is slowing. And that does take big screen time. So momentum indicators are part of the battle. I would say there's 3 things I like to look at. One of them is location on the chart, price structure, and momentum. So you're talking about basically exiting purely based off momentum. And if that's working for you, sounds like it's causing you some anxiety, sounds like it's causing you to spend a lot of time. So you can enhance that by looking for other pieces as well. First of all, having a location target in mind. Let's look at Doge. We are coming up in the last 5 minutes. Let's see if we can get this going though, because I would like to help you out here if I can. We're going to need to go to Bittrex because it has more chart history. But let's just say for Doge, right? So before I even get into this trade, I'm already thinking like, where's my exit going to be? And because I'm Mr. Fib, and I like my fibs, I'll go up here, and I'll draw that up. And 382 works both ways too, so you can see here I got a tag. And that kind of marked the first impulse, which makes sense. And so that might have been a target, right? 382. And in that case, you're not watching anything, right? You're just setting that take profit. And that's another thing you can do. If you don't want to be staring at the chart all day, you can have a preset take profit. You say, I know a few people who got in around 30. This was like a key level breaking out. Looks really fast on here, but I think there was some time to get in there. Maybe. I mean, a lot of them did, so I guess there was. But, so just say you got in at 30. You're going to risk to lows, 20%, still a big chunk. I'm going to run it to the 382. Sick trade, 4 RR, more than 4, higher. So you're getting more than 4 times your money if you win versus if you lose. I mean, that's sick. And then, this obviously happened to tag. I typically use, these kinds of things for targets. So in this case, I'd still be waiting. But do you see here how it's predetermined? So I don't have to really be anxious. I know exactly what I'm losing if I lose, and I make sure that that's only 1% of my account or whatever I'm comfortable with, 0.5%, 2%, right? So I've predetermined my loss. I've accepted that the market may take that money away from me, and I'm okay with that. You have to be okay with that. And then you've got your target, and you've set it. And then there's different ways to manage that, right? You can have close the whole position at your TP, call it a day. You can have close half your position, move your stop loss up to break even, so you've locked in a guaranteed winner, and you still have some left to go. And it really just comes down to your style, and you can practice this, right? I think there's even a paper trading option on TradingView. Doesn't work on all exchanges, not Binance and stuff, but I think you can run it through Coinbase. So I hope that helps. But the number one thing, I guess, the overarching issue, I think, is you need to have this stuff figured out before you're in a position. It's very hard to focus and think clearly and rationally when you're in a position, especially when there's just like, you're looking online and everyone are putting out targets and it's rallying and it's go, go, go. I mean, God, try coming up with a plan in that moment. So plan it now when it's quiet and casual. Let's think about strat. I think I get the vibe that you're in a strat position. So look, first of all, year-long accumulation. If this is a breakout, I don't think it's the day to be rushing to the exits. But you want to know where you're thinking about exiting. We've got the 0.5 retrace, which is often sort of a vibrational signature in the market. So I like that as a first stop. We can move it right up into here, short RZ. So if we get up there, I'll be watching for bearish divergence and some bearish structure. And actually, Adik, if you want to take a look at the video on our channel last night, I talked about tops and spotting tops on Ren, for example. We're running short on time for today here, but for Ren, I had a little chat last night on the video about how to spot a top. So I'm not calling tops in this. Personally, I think it is, but the structure hasn't confirmed it yet. So we've got bearish divergence here. A break below this level would confirm it, and then you'd want to see, again, for me, it's like, okay, that was the top. I don't want to panic exit here because for a week or two I might be watching it squeeze back up, but it's that kind of thing. This is part of a plan, something I would maybe put in place, when I got in at this pump chaser fib here, or, at this bullish retest here. So having plans in place ahead is the short answer to have lowered anxiety while trading. And I really hope that helps. We actually got started a few minutes late today, so let's keep running. Let's keep it going. Any more questions, things we want to wrap on? It is Friday. We are going to be back on Monday morning, so I'll be back here on Monday. We'll continue on. Hopefully the weekend is kind. I find there's less volume. Let's actually take a look at the CME. So that, let's get it in candles. And let's make this one the line. Oh, those aren't colored the nice way, but that's because it's just a secondary chart here. So yeah, the CME will close, and over the weekend, we'll see. If there's a big dump over the weekend, there's going to be a big, fat, juicy gap on the CME chart, which is good news for bulls, because that means we'll probably have to come back and fill it if we're going to have any more kind of significant downside. So, if it happens over the weekend, it happens. If we rally, we rally. It's really hard to say. I know for sure I'll be watching ETH. Singles. Okay, let's take a look at singles. I know for sure I'll be watching Ethereum. Real quick. Just in case anyone came late. This is a short setup I'm watching to take shape. And I'll really quickly go over it before we go check out singles. Which always reminds me of cigarettes in high school when people used to buy singles for 50 cents. I didn't. I don't smoke, but people did, and it's just that coin always reminds me of that. So look, bearish divergence, right? Lower highs on the MACD, momentum slowing, EMA is getting closer together. So we're losing steam right at that 886 on the short RLZ. Nice location, right? But blindly sniping here, not my style. But we get that nice breakdown in structure. Okay, so we've got the divergence. We're in the short RLZ. We got the broken structure. That's a fire for me. So that's like, okay, so the signal has fired. Not in a position, but watching and waiting, drawing up this new fib now. It was here, but I woke up this morning and there was a new low, so I had to extend it to here. And then hunting here for a short. That's what I'm thinking, right? And in this case, I would have to have those orders working, because the perfect world, if you really are bearish, the move up to here will be it'll likely be quick, like ping, and then back down, and it'll wash a lot of people's stops out. Probably some stops resting here, Maybe some stops resting here, but I like to use this sweet spot. And then obviously you can see your RR is pretty nice. It's 4-1, right? Rather than like sell your bag here, panic, short it here, stop loss up here, right? You get washed out because your target's not very far. So I like a 4-1. This is a setup I'll be watching over the weekend. If we can go ping and then come down here, and then of course watching for signs of slowing down in this area. Doesn't have to happen, but I'll be watching for it. And again, I think I touched on this earlier, but the idea being getting into this short if the market decides to roll over through, you know, the latter part of August and July and into August. I mean, look at that entry. It doesn't have to be a full exit here. It could be move my stop loss to break even here. Maybe close half, take a little profit, pay myself. All right, so if this comes in, you can see the potential for, you know, and then of course you're that guy in August who's looking back and it's like, man, I've been short since up here. What a sick trade. So yes, we're going to love it or hate it. This is a place to be thinking about taking those kinds of trades, I think, for my plan. Now let's take a look at singles. Okay, take care, Craig. Have a great day, bro. We are going to wrap here in a sec, but I just want to finish off with singles. Ooh, yeah. I can see why you'd want to look at this chart. It's very nice looking. I'm not on my right one though. Let's get it on here. This is my this is sort of where I like to go for altcoins. Okay. So I can already see this is sitting in the RLZ right at the sweet spot. Very nice. And it does have bullish divergence. You can see that working, right? Making higher lows as price is making lower lows. So we got lower lows, higher lows. We actually just confirmed that bullish divergence as we confirmed bullish market structure. Who said this? This is actually a really nice chart. Paul, beast mode. Not surprised. TRI guy. What a sick setup. Yeah, no, I like this a lot. Picture that like cat meme that just turns to the computer, like run to my exchange, like, oh, buy. No, I don't know. I'm not calling buy on this, but I do like it. It fits my plan. It's for sure. Breaking out of Willie, oversold. Got some nice W's in the stock. Oh, okay. Well, OBV's kind of reversing. I was going to say it's trending down, but it is putting in W's. Sick, man. Really like that. I'm gonna add it to my green list, which I'm going to be going over after the show today. Very cool. And then, yeah, what does our higher time frame look like? Where are we headed? I mean, yeah. So if that was like a breakout, which it looks like it was, in many ways, breaking out, buying that RLZ after the breakout, sure. Divergence, everything's firing. What have we got? Oof. Yeah. So what would that look like, I guess? Probably don't even have to run to this stop. I might even tighten it a bit just because there could be some volatility coming. And frankly, I got this structure. I don't really want that to break. So you get this really nice invalidation. If I could see through these thick lines. Yeah. So look, 12, 13%. Look at that RR. Getting that ratio up. And maybe that's one way to do it, right? If you're a little more slow and steady, you're just thinking, but that's 38%. No, I don't like that. Maybe even just 886, 23%. I mean, look, you're getting a double before, almost not even leaving the building. There's your free position. Sell half your thing, you got a free spot, and then you just put that break loss or stop loss break even. Or just hold the free position for 3 years, see what happens. But yeah, I don't know what this project's doing these days, but a full run. It seems unlikely. It feels unlikely that Bitcoin would just stay stagnant for weeks and weeks and weeks from here, but it's very possible. Been hearing the term violently flat, and it's possible. So, great shout, Paul. Oh, you did get that in the RLZ, yeah. So you're already long in that. I think there's all the markers there for a nice setup, and I'm gonna look into that because, I mean, this is extreme. I'm not gonna make that my like set your orders, but yeah, definitely. I mean, definitely at a 2x for a little bit. Got some old resistance here that's already been tagged, so that could just melt away. It's actually kind of been tested a few times. I mean, I don't know what I call these tests, but 1, 2, 3, fail. So if we get back up there, I don't imagine, there's a decent chance we can get a flip on that. But yeah, sick trade setup, man. Appreciate that. And this is why we live stream, because it's the interaction, the engagement, and the ideas. There's a smart group in here. So I think with that, we'll wrap. It's 1:03 on the hour. Really nice to spend the morning with you guys here on Friday. I think a little quick takeaway message, sort of like what to watch for us over the weekend. Definitely for alts, want to watch this retest, which already kind of came in, which is really nice on ETH BTC. This is like 36-day consolidation. So that breakout, retest, go. I mean, keep an eye on this one for altcoins, health. ETH BTC typically leads the show. It doesn't have to be rallying. It just has to not be unhealthy. Even sitting still apparently does it because these things are so oversold on the high time frames, these altcoins. Yeah, I want something a little better time frame here. First, get back here so I don't lose it. So let's wrap with the Bitcoin chart. It does look like it needs to go lower in the short term. Just the way it is. Not like crazy lower. But Bitcoin does look like it wants to cool off. Let's just, within range still, but let's see where. This could be our weekend. So let's zoom out a little and then zoom back in. I know I said I'm wrapping, but I like to wrap with a sort of what to look for this weekend. I mean, keeping an eye here, this has been a really kind level. This little trend line is working up. So if we lose all this, I'll be getting a little cautious. That's, a loss of this trend line is probably where the alts start to algo dump, as it were. And that's a really good time to be thinking about protecting some profits. And you gotta pick your battles. I mean, if we're in a risk on window, dips are for buying. So, I mean, there's no easy way to do this. I think for me personally, in some charts, I may be looking to buy dips if we get some volatility this way. But I also have to be prepared to then exit if we get a proper thing. Don't get stuck buying dips, because if we see downside, very possible. I mean, this could be bull flag and we keep going. So I'm not calling it, but if we see downside, it'll likely be more violent and last a little longer than we'd all like to think. Weeks, maybe a little longer. So buy the dip works great while we're in this range. If we lose this range, if we lose this level, sell the bounce, right? For me anyways, I'll be exiting, securing some profits, and then just enjoying and hanging out, and we'll find new things to talk about and learn about on the stream. So I hope that helps and is useful and helpful for you guys. Had a great morning this morning, and I think we're going to wrap today. So we'll be back Monday morning, bright and early, 9 a.m. And if you like this stream, if you appreciated anything that I did here, I'd love a like, maybe sub, throw the bell down so you can be notified. I have this urge sometimes to go live randomly, and I'm working up to it. So, if I do pop into a random live stream that's not scheduled, you'd get the bell and we can hang out, because live is not nearly as fun without viewers. So throw the bell on if you are subscribed. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Play from a position of strength. Be safe in the market, and have fun, because this risk on window ain't gonna last forever. So hunt those setups, and let's hope it lasts for a little while longer, but it's going to do what it's going to do. Let's make money while money's makeable. All right. Take care, guys. Cheers.